Hey, welcome to this edition of Man Cave Technology. Today we're going to be talking about privacy issues. If you live in the United States, there are some major privacy issues. If you don't, be lucky that you don't, and you can watch us and hope that your government does not do the same. We're also going to talk about some new Apple products that have been released. Welcome to the show. So, hey guys, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Doing well.
Very good. And sitting in Ryan's spot today, we have a guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I am Richard Riffle. My dad met Josh in the park, and then a day later, here I am.
Here he is, sitting in on the
Thank you,
podcast. That has to be like a new record of how quick someone has made it onto the show.
Seriously, yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. And I think Ryan is off on some big adventure today. Is he hiking or something?
Yeah, he said he was somewhere like by some falls or something like that. I don't know.
So he's doing.
Hopefully he's not dead.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. He's doing some hiking, and I'm disappointed because his drone is sitting on his desk.
Yeah, like wouldn't you bring that?
Who goes hiking without the drone?
Right. Like, what are you gonna do on the hike without a drone?
Yeah, just walk up hills.
Yeah, that sounds pretty boring. So today we're going to talk about just something that's really crazy. I think that's happened, and basically some laws and things have changed. Dalton, why don't you fill us in a little bit on what's going on if someone isn't familiar with this issue?
So basically what's going on is the FCC had a policy in place which prevented ISPs or internet service providers from selling your information, your browsing history information specifically, and it just got voted to be revoked. And as long as Trump doesn't veto it, and it doesn't seem like he's going to, internet service providers have the option to sell your browsing history to anybody that wants it.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty insane.
So basically, whoever you're paying for internet service that kind of can see everything you're doing, they now can sell that and like double make money off of you.
Exactly. Like you're paying them to provide internet, and then they can sell the information to
They just
anybody.
completely turn around, slap you in the face, to sell all your information.
Yeah, and there's almost as like a normal person, there's not a lot people know about protecting themselves in this type of thing. So it's just like, and anybody can do it. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, but like, what information can they get from you? I mean, what information is now public essentially?
Well, it's basically like, I mean, your credit card and information and stuff like that is all still private because that's encrypted, and they're not tracking literally at the keys you're pressing.
Right.
But they are tracking, where you're going, so they can check if you added something to your cart on Amazon.
They can see those URLs. So if you look at the top in the browser, wherever you're at, if you're like on Target, it's going to say target.com/ bed sheets / Mario Kart mattress cover or something, and that could be a little awkward depending on your age.
There you go.
Yeah,
Bed sheets and Mario Kart.
Wow.
So it's just it's weird because they basically, the argument for why they should be able to sell it was that it was an overreach by the FCC and saying like you can't dictate what they can sell. Well, it's weird because it's like, it's not like Amazon right now can't already track what you're looking at on their site.
Right.
Which most people are okay with. It's like, I go to Amazon, I agree that they can see the items I'm looking for, I'm buying, because then they're going to give me better recommendations.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want Donovan to be able to recommend me products without me ever telling him.
Right.
And I think that's the problem, is that anybody can just now, if they have enough money, buy your internet search history, which is very uncomfortable.
So if you want to keep it a secret, you have to go into the store and buy it.
Right.
Anything online.
Yeah, you have to actually go back.
Now you have to go physically to the grocery store.
You have to go back in time. Now, one of the things that, I think we've known and we've talked about on this show before, we all know pretty much that the government watches everything we do. I think some people seem so shocked when the Snowden things came out, but I've just always assumed that the government can do what they want, and I wasn't really shocked that they're, in cahoots with all these companies, snooping, and that's fine. I think a lot of people say, I don't have anything to hide, so I don't care. And I think that a lot of times, with the government, that may be valid, but I think it's a whole different thing when it's not necessarily I'm trying to hide something. It's like, you're now creeping on me. I mean, it's almost like I don't want to take it to an extreme. It's almost like a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
I'm paying you for, say that I'm going to buy clothes and I'm paid to buy the clothes, but I don't want you peering over, watching me try them on and changing. That would be overreach.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of like if someone had access to your Netflix recommended videos, it's not a huge deal, but it's like it's none of their business.
Right. Exactly.
And so I think for most people it's not a problem. Like if someone's looking at my browsing history, they're gonna see that I go on Reddit. Like that's not a big deal, but they also shouldn't have that information if I don't want to give it to them.
Right. Well, and as we know, bad things happen. So for instance, say that I was trying to buy some type of life insurance policy or some type of whatever, but I also had just had some weird symptom or something happen. And so I come home and Google, what did the doctor just tell me? Well, now all of a sudden, if you were to look at my browsing history, you could piece that together and a company could be like, we ain't selling this guy, life insurance. Look, I think he has this kind of disease or this or that. And so it's a slippery slope. Really bad things can happen. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be interesting to see if some internet service providers come out saying, we're going to be the good guys and we're not going to be selling your data, but then charge more for it. I don't know. It seems so unfair.
And they're like, well, if for $20 we won't sell your information.
There you go. Or maybe on the, do I get a discount every month now for internet if you sell my stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, okay, you give me $20 and I'll just give you my information. You can just have it.
You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, seriously. Well, and we're already giving out that information, but this is really the invasion where we're not giving that out to just anyone. We're giving that out to like Amazon and the search engines that are already pulling that data, but that is with our consent.
Because we're going to them.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
but these guys know where you're going or where you're not going.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think one thing that people should really make sure is if you don't want that information out there, there are ways to protect yourself. You can get a VPN, which will just basically tunnel you somewhere else. And what they used to be, or like the most common use for them is when you get region blocked. And so if your region doesn't allow you to watch a YouTube video or a Netflix show, you can say, okay, I'm over here now. And then it routes you there. And now it almost seems like I have to browse everything like that if I don't want my information out there.
Right. Yeah. VPNs were, really kind of came out of a technology of back in the day, you would have a network at an office, and back when everything had to be done on that network at the office, and we started having people remotely work. And so for someone to access the files on the server, back before we kind of had the cloud, people would VPN into their office. But the sub-benefit of that is once you've established that tunnel that's encrypted from here to the office, well, now when you're browsing, everything's as if you're at the office. Mm-hmm. And that's what Dalton's talking about, is just that extended idea of now I can get a VPN service that's in another country, and then I have a secure tunnel to that country, and it's as if I'm there conducting business, which makes it harder for someone to spy on unless the company that's providing the VPN is, selling you out as well.
Double agent.
And also things like, for example, if you look on Reddit, you can and you use a VPN, it'll tell you, okay, your account last logged on here, here, here. And that's so someone can't just take your Reddit account and you log on, and that way when you look at it, you'd be like, well, I've never logged on in France. Yeah. And then you can be like, okay, something's weird here, and then you can fix it. Well, now an internet service provider can do something similar, be like, oh, he browsed Reddit over here. Yeah. Oh, here's the last 5 locations this account has been, and now they can eventually find your IP address still through, just enough research. And I don't know how common that will be, but the fact that it's possible is the thing that's concerning.
Right. And I think one of the sad things is that, people who are into technology, they're going to try to find ways to not live with it. But a lot of people, they're just going to be victims.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, they will. Yeah.
And I wonder if they're going to go after certain people. There's millions of people on each internet provider. They're not going to go for each person and find it and send you stuff. Who are they going to pick and choose?
Well, I really see I think that people will end up creating services out of this where, hey, we have bought this demographic We have bought their information. Now you come to us, and we'll go out and parse out. Hey, if you're like selling insurance, we'll parse out their searches. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And then companies will buy. I mean, like, for instance, we could say, hey, we want to know everyone who visited these certain tech websites, and then we're going to target them with, hey, you should watch this show. But we're not going to do that because we're not.
And do you think they're going to have a separate like subcategory of people? Like they're going to hire certain people just to do this?
Yeah,
possibly.
To
I
look
could
at
see
target
that.
demographics of like
Yeah.
certain towns or even the regions and towns, like.
Well, and all this stuff is really automated. I mean, someone's just going to be making a bot that
that goes through everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's so crazy. Dalton had mentioned this when we were talking earlier, but there is an article by The Verge, and it shows how much the telecom lobbyists have spent on each of these senators, all these people, and basically some people didn't even get that, even get that much money from this. I mean, like $1,500, but which, I mean, come on, they sold us out for really, really cheap.
It's not a lot of money.
And at the end of the day, it's the providers that are really gonna make a killing from this. And in the past, even I noticed on like my Verizon account, it was more of a thing you could opt in. And then I got points for like every month or something I use their service, and I could get, kind of almost like getting toys at the arcade, when you get the thing. It was something like that, but it was basically for giving your private data up. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to be doing this. But now you just don't have an option. It's just going to be the way it is.
Yeah, and the thing that's surprising to me is it's not considered bribery, but it's like very obvious that they're being paid to vote for this.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they don't even understand it, because now people can buy their search history. It's
Right.
like, what are you doing? It doesn't, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and didn't someone, was it you maybe, Dalton, that said that there's a group on Reddit or somewhere trying to raise money?
They want to crowdfund to buy these specific people that voted yes on this, and they're just like, okay, we're gonna buy their search history. There's got to be something weird in there. We'll find it.
I love it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, and there are some companies. Tunnel Bear's one that a lot of people are familiar with. Do you know what the pricing for that is?
Oh, I think it was like $5 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
It depends on what you do.
Yeah, there's different ones. There's like the free one, which is like 500 megabytes per month or whatever. But and that's not a lot if you're browsing, or especially if you watch a video or something like that. But there's other things like OpenVPN, which is an open source VPN, and there's articles all over if people are interested enough. But I was on Reddit, and there was a guy mentioning that you can set up an open VPN using Amazon Web Service, which doesn't track your logs or doesn't keep logs, so they won't backtrace you. Essentially, like they won't go back and be able to find you. And so you kind of have to make sure that the VPN you're using doesn't keep logs, because otherwise they'll know where you logged in from initially.
Right. And obviously, for most of us, we're not gonna have a clue. Like what to use for that. We're gonna search on Google like everything else.
Yeah, right. And then they're gonna be like, oh, well, he's using this VPN now.
Yeah,
we know.
he's suspicious. And then that's where the government will then come in and say, oh, what are you hiding? And all you're trying to do is just keep Comcast from creeping on you. So
they're like, and you've been watching Iron Fist. Okay.
So this will be interesting to see where it goes, and we'll definitely keep track of it, and we'd love to hear from you and what you think. So let us know in the comments, because I think this is going to get a lot of people probably upset. I can't see very many people who are going to be like, yay, I've always dreamed.
Hey, it's legal
Mom, I'm
to
gonna
buy
be
my
famous.
stuff.
Yeah.
Without my consent. I love it.
It's been a dream of mine. That's going to do it for this edition of the Man Cave Technology Show. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, because we would love for you to hear more of us. So, hey, thanks for watching the show.